Series 4 and 5 cards are the most expensive ones in Marvel Snap, and the ones you should be making the most careful decisions with your valuable collector's tokens. Today's video is going to give you a rundown on my thoughts on what are the absolute best cards to be picking up in Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap's a well-balanced game, so there's a lot of competitive decks at any given point. And while I'm going to be sorting some of these cards into strong in terms of power level versus more fine versus terrible down here in the Kang Memorial tier, something you ultimately need to decide for yourself when choosing how to use your Marvel Snap resources is which types of decks you enjoy playing. In my opinion, prioritizing picking up cards outside of the buy these and strong tech cards, anything in these defining categories, even the ones that are only fine, I think are very reasonable pickups for your resources, because these are the cards that unlock and enable you to play new decks that wouldn't be accessible to you likely without those cards. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into it with a fantastic example of this. Ajax is a card that's been consistently strong. It's the main stat payoff inside of the Hazmat Afflict deck. It is defines the deck that it's played in. Very solid pickup. Agamotto, also another card. Agamotto decks are usually called Agamotto decks. They're also not terribly powerful consistently, so I would say he's defining and fine as two headlining examples. Agent Venom, another card that you absolutely build your deck around that tends to be consistently powerful. Agony. I think Agony is a quite strong card, especially after she was buffed to 3 points of power, but usually there's other things that you can play in her slot without giving up the identity of the deck. Like Destroy is a prime example where like Agony is a great card, but if you sub Hulkbuster, the deck's a little bit worse, but still playable. Airwalker. Airwalker is usually defining in the decks that it's played in. You're fishing up a very specific 4 energy card, and those decks become a lot less consistent if he's not available. Move. So something that we talked about the last time we did this tier list update about 2 months ago at this point is I think we finally hit a critical enough mass of move enablers in Marvel Snap where I don't think any individual move enabler in Snap is defining, because there's so many you can interchange back and forth. I think some of them are more powerful than others. I would say Anya is one of the stronger ones, so I'm going to put her in here. But if you're missing any individual move enabler, you could substitute it out for a different one that's in your collection, so keep playing that move deck, generally speaking. Alliance, the tech card. It's really good at blowing away your opponent's text, and it's quite strong quite consistently. Annihilus. He defines his decks typically, but they haven't been good for a little while. Post Merlin, they've really struggled. Anti-Venom, pretty generically good 4 energy card, occasionally has some synergy build arounds with things like Luke Cage, often sees play in Afflict decks with Ajax, but also not really a headliner. Ares. Ares is just like one of the many 4 energy, 10 plus power cards. It's reasonably strong, very replaceable. Arishem. This is to let you know how objective these tier lists are. Arishem is definitely a strong card, even if I despise it. Astral Projection. I think Astral Projection's kind of come into a home of its own. It's got some fringe archetypes where it sees play, but I also wouldn't describe it as absolutely necessary in those decks, so it belongs down here and fine. Awesome Andy. I think he's somewhere in between these two. I think you can play him without being embarrassed, which I think is my quantifier to call it fine as opposed to terrible, so I'm going to slide him there. Baron Zemo, still no mill payoffs in Marvel Snap, despite people constantly building mill decks, so I'm going to say he's fine. Bastion. Bastion honestly feels like he's ended up... My gut reaction was to put him here, but the decks that he's played in really don't always play him these days. When he initially spoiled, I thought he was going to be a card that was always going to be played alongside Victoria Hand. And while he's good with Victoria Hand Frigga stuff in a number of situations, there's a number of very successful Victoria Hand decks that don't play him. So I think I would call him replaceable. Batroc. Batroc is different from move enablers like Anya in that he's a payoff for different types of move cards like Silk and Sam Wilson. I think he defines the decks that he's in typically and isn't very replaceable. Beta Ray Bill. He is defining in the Thor's deck, but the Thor's deck is only okay. Black Knight as well. Black Knight, how good is Hela? I guess Black Knight's pretty important in Hela. There's some Hela decks that don't play him. There's like Fringe non-Hela Black Knight where he's definitely defining, and like Agatha wants him too. But she's probably only okay right now. I'm gonna say defining and fine for him. Black Swan. I'm gonna say Black Swan is fine. I think if you really like Black Swan, you could play her inside of Bounce and not feel embarrassed, and she's fine in here. Blink. If Black Knight is in defining and fine with Hela, I think I'm putting all the Hela support enablers in here like Blink. Blob is a big dumb 6-drop that is easily replaceable with other big dumb 6-drop if you're missing it. Bruce Banner. Is it crazy to say Bruce Banner is strong? The end of turn decks have been consistently good, but I don't think I would call him defining and strong, because I think you can play end of turn without him. But I think he's a piece in a deck that's been consistently strong. I think he deserves the strong power tag. Bullseye. Bullseye's a tough one. He's been like consistently in the strong category for a long while now, but that deck's play rate has kind of fallen off the face of the earth recently. But I also don't know that I think it's fallen off because it's bad so much that it's fallen off just because it's not new and shiny. So I think I'm gonna leave this in strong. I think the Bullseye discard deck with Dakin is quite reasonable. Kyra. Kyra's a tech card. She's good against Killmonger if you don't want to die to Killmonger. Cannonball. I kind of feel like he's just under strong. Like, obviously he has synergy with Mercury that you build around a little bit, but Mercury's pretty good even without him. I don't think I'd call Cannonball a tech card. I think I'd put him in strong but replaceable. You're not. So a tech card, just to clarify, tech cards are cards that you put into your opponent's deck to counter specific things. And I don't think kill biggest number in a lane is a very specific thing. He's an interactive card, but not all interactive cards are automatically tech cards. Captain Carter. I feel like Surfer's only okay at the moment. I feel like as the gameplay's gotten a little bit more linear, Surfer feels a little bit worse. And that's like her one deck. So I think she's important in Surfer, but I think I'm going to say that she's fine for now. Cassandra Nova. I really like Cassandra Nova. I think Cassandra Nova is a pretty generically reasonable card that also happens to be tech against bigger deck things. Does Carter deserve to be better because of the ongoing deck? Maybe. She's okay. The Spectrum deck's okay. The Spectrum deck, I don't know if the Spectrum deck is actually something I would classify as strong. It floats up on occasion, but it's not consistently there. I think I'm gonna leave her in fine. You're right. I would call the Spectrum deck better than Surfer. And if I was like trying to rank inside of the categories, I would put her towards the top of this, but I don't really want to do that. Clea. I don't think Clea is down here anymore. I think she was down here once upon a time. I think she is a reasonable card that you could build your deck around if you want with Marvel Boy and a couple of other choices. Cobra. He's technically a tech card, but I really don't think I can call him fine in good conscience. I think Cobra is going to kick off the King Memorial tier. Colonel America. I think the discard decks are all under strong. I think most of the discard cards are good right now. Copycat. Copycat's just kind of a generically good 3. I think you could splash her into most places and she's reasonable. Corvus. I really like Corvus in Power Man Colonel America discard. Cosmic Ghost Rider. I think Cosmic Ghost Rider is arguably the best tech card in Marvel Snap right now, and is one of the better uses of your resources. Honestly, yeah, I think he should go above these. Yeah, I think he's gonna kick off our buy this category. He is absolutely a tech card, but I think he is the best by a lot. Call Obsidian in here with Ares, just another 4/10. Dakin in with discard stuff that's quite reasonable. Oh, danger. You're gonna go. You're there. I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of activate cards in the King tier, chip. I'm getting the feeling there's gonna be a lot of activate cards in the King tier. Darkhawk. I think Darkhawk is almost always better than its play rate implies because people undervalue how disruptive Korg is. I think Darkhawk is defining and strong. Diamondback. So we've kind of gotten to a point with Afflict cards where, other than Ajax, I think a lot similar to Move. Other than Ajax, I think a lot of the Afflict payoffs are replaceable and interchangeable at this point. So if you're missing Diamondback, you could substitute her for another Afflict payoff. You don't need to have specific ones. There's a few you can reach for if you're looking to be a Hazmat enjoyer. Doom 2099. Just really hasn't had good stats in a long time. Dormammu. All right, but potentially controversial take. I'm gonna start thinking about our recurring game modes a little bit more when we talk about these tier lists. I like Dormammu as a defining and strong card because it's really good inside of Sanctum Destroy. And I think you can play Dormammu Destroy in regular Marvel Snap serviceably. I think it's a bit worse than like Destroy without Dormammu, but I think this card in some of the limited time game modes has been quite good, with Sanctum being a notable call out. Elixir. The Reanimator deck is not very good, but Elixir is definitely defining in it. Elsa Bloodstone. I think Zombie Scarlet Witch has pushed Elsa out of the only deck she was remotely playable in. I think she had one spot, and I think she doesn't belong in that spot anymore with Zombie Scarlet Witch being added to the game. I don't think I have any decks you can play Elsa in at the moment. I don't think, like, I don't know. Maybe she belongs here just because I think, like, you could probably play her and not feel embarrassed, but I really don't think there's a 12 cards where she's optimal at the moment. I think she belongs down here. Esme. Esme is very good in Mr. Negative, and Mr. Negative has been a competitive deck for a long time. Esme's going in defining and strong. Man, I thought we were going to get further before I had to zoom out. We did not. Isan. So Isan is technically a Hela card. So I think he actually climbs his way out of the pits to get to be a Hela card. We're actually playing the Fallen one today. If you haven't seen the Fallen one in action, there's highlights of it on my Daily Decks channel, linked in the video description down below. Well, I don't think Fallen one is strong. I think every time I play him, he feels like he punches above my expectations. You can do some really neat, novel things with him. Fanfei. Fanfei's close between these, but I think Move is a good enough deck, and you could play a mixture of move enablers where she's obviously a rung under something like Anya, but still fine and interchangeable with some of the others. Fantasticar, end of turn stuff, very good. Fenris Wolf. Fenris Wolf's an interesting one, because, like, you can build your deck. It's kind of Cassandra Nova adjacent, honestly. Where if you could build your deck to maximize it, but it's also a tech card against things like Hela or Ghost Rider stuff. So I think I'm going to put it up here in tech and fine. Fire Hair. My heart wants to tell you Fire Hair is strong. My head knows she is only fine. Sorry, milady. Fire Lord belongs with Elixir in the Reanimator deck. Lovely, lovely. What's the opposite of enhancing, chat? Whatever it is, that's what we're doing here. We're only in the Fs and we've had to zoom out twice. Oh no. Oh no. Frankie Ray. I think Frankie Ray is okay, but she's also not important in any deck that's playing her. Friga Victoria hand stuff is quite good. Defining and strong. Galacta. Just kind of a generically good 4. I think somewhat similar to Ares and Cull with a little bit more wide applications. I don't think she's irreplaceable anywhere, though. Galactus. I don't think regular Galactus is particularly good at the moment, but he definitely defines the decks that he's in. Now, Galactus First Steps. Very blob-esque card here. Just big, dumb 6 can replace with other big, dumb 6. But very, very good in the decks that play him. Ghost Rider First Steps. There's like some cute Khonshu stuff you could do with him, but I really don't think any of that is remotely good. Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh had a window just now inside of Sanctum with Zoo. I think if Sanctum gets Dormammu up into strong, it probably gets Gilgamesh into strong as well. Gladiator, pretty generically good 3 energy card. Occasionally has some deck building synergy with things like Fenris. Goliath. I think he's more important to the Spectrum deck than Carter. But if I'm putting Carter down here, he's definitely defining. But if this one goes here, I have to reassess Carter. I think I'm putting all the Spectrum cards in just fine today. Gorgon! It's a tech card. It's fine. Gore. I think Gore is actually one of the few big dumb 6s where I wouldn't call him replaceable. I think he goes up here next to Esme. Gore was one of the cards that was responsible for putting Mr. Negative from a pet deck to a consistently top performer. It's very good there. Grandmaster. I think we've hit a critical mass of doubles up on reveals with Silver Surfer First Steps and Absorbing Man and Wong that I'm going to call Grandmaster. He's a very reasonable card, but definitely replaceable in today's day and age. Gwenpool, very similar to Galacta. There's like technically some loose deck building synergy, but more often than not just played as a pretty generically good 4 energy card. Headpool. I think I'm going to put Headpool in replaceable and fine. For reference, as the data has developed post-Headpool release during the zombie season, it does not look like the best Destroy variations want to play Headpool. That being said, I think you can play him without feeling embarrassed if you really like the card or what it does, so I'm going to call it fine. Hellion. I think Hellion is a okay move enabler that can sub it if you're missing others, but not often optimal. Herbie. Is it a hot take to say I think Herbie's one of our better 2-drops and we should all be playing more of him? I'm gonna say that. I think he's absolutely replaceable, but I actually think I think we didn't go back and give Herbie the credit where credit is due after Mr. Fantastic was nerfed to 3. He got super overshadowed when he was initially released because he was that much worse than Mr. Fantastic, like rightfully. But at post Mr. Fantastic moving, I think he's one of the better 2s. High Evo. Defining in his deck is only okay. Hitmonkey! Bounce Bounce ain't great, but it definitely wants Hitmonkey. Hope Summers. I think Hope Summers is similar to some of these other cards as we've gotten more cards in Marvel Snap, right? I think we have this really critical mass of makes extra energy ahead of time cards, and I think I would define almost all of them as interchangeable and replaceable in a lot of different situations. I think Hope's one of the stronger of them, but I wouldn't call her defining, I don't think. Emperor Hulkling. For the first time in Hoaglandia tier list history, I'm gonna give it to the Emperor Hulkling enjoyers. I'm gonna put Emperor Hulkling in with the other big dumb sixes. Maybe he's replaceable at 5. I don't think he's strong. I don't think he's Kang tier. I think I can put him above Kang tier. And if you're like, Jeff, I love Hulkling, can I play him? Yes, but absolutely, if you see a Hulkling in a deck, we actually played a Hulkling deck today, and so I was like, can I replace those? Like, absolutely play a different 6 that you like. So he's the same, like, classification as, like, Blob and Galactus and, like, a Red Hulk when we get to him in a minute, but still okay. I think Hulkling is a better card than Elsa right now. Yes, yes, absolutely. Human Torch First Steps. I really don't love Surfer at the moment. And that was like his one spot. I think he's another, you can play him if you really love him, but I don't know that there's a 12 cards where I'd tell you he's optimal. Hydration Robert. Very reasonable 1 energy card, has solid synergy and things like Sanctum, but absolutely replaceable. Hydra Stomper. I think Hydra Stomper is quite good. I think Scream decks are often underrated, and I think Batrock's a very good card. I put Batrock in strong. Hydra Stomper is Batrock's buddy. Infinity Ultron. Is calling Infinity Ultron strong a hot take? I think they got this design to a place that I'm really happy with it. And I think I would say it's strong and you can play it happily inside of Victoria hand, but there's also good Victoria hand decks that don't play it. It might be a little borderline. I'm gonna call it strong. Invisible Omen's First Steps. End of turn stuff is very good. It's like 6 nerfs in, and end of turn stuff is still very good. Iron Lad. I think Iron Lad is demoted to just fine at this point. It occasionally sees play as like a consistency adder in decks, but only okay. The Iron Patriot. Very good 2 energy card. All right, this is our first Mercury nerf to 3 energy play tier list. Can I copefully say Jeff the Babyland Shark is fine? I think Jeff is a cut above everything else currently in the King tier. That's just how I feel, chat. It's how I feel. I'm gonna say Jeff the Babyland Shark is fine. Jennifer Kale. I think Jennifer Kale is a little bit worse than Hope Summers, but again, just another one of those variety of cards that give us extra energy that we have now. Jim Hammond's Human Torch. Speaking of extra energy, I actually think Jim is quite good. He needs to go in pretty specific kinds of decks, but he's quite good in those decks. I think you can still play those decks without him, but he's reasonable. Joaquin Torres. All right, Joaquin. I'm gonna say that the hunger has promoted Joaquin Torres to defining. I think Joaquin is very fun and not replaceable in hunger combo decks. You wanna enjoy yourself some Joaquin Torres, make some zombies. End of turn card, very good, Jocasta. Kahori. I think as Victoria hand decks have matured, Kahori has gotten worse and just doesn't do enough for them. Oh man, this hurts. I feel like my bar is like, is this card worse than Jeff the Baby Land Shark? And I think she might. I think she might be. I think she might be. I think she might be. King. King's a fine 3 energy card that gives you cube equity. Omega Sentinel. Omega Sentinel is only okay. It's an afflict card you can play with Ajax stuff. I think it's playable, but not amazing. Kate Bishop, chat. Kate is joining Cosmic Ghost Rider. Bye, Kate Bishop. She's very good. Khonshu. I think the Colonel America Power Man discard cards have promoted Khonshu into a discard deck that really wants him for the first time. I think all the discard variations, their cards are defining and strong. Kid Omega. You want to cope with Nimrod stuff? I think Kid Omega's a fine card there. That's pretty important. Eitri. Eitri belongs with Bojack Norseman. Beta Ray Bill Enabler, very reasonable card for that purpose. Lasher. I'm going to say Lasher is defining and strong because I think it's one of the more important cards for Cerebro 2. I think Cerebro 2 has been a consistently solid deck since they buffed Cerebro. And I think Lasher is one of your best payoffs there. Laufey. Laufey is another Afflict enabler that's interchangeable with other Afflict enablers. Legion. I think Legion's a pretty generically good 5 energy card. I think, as I often say in these tier lists, everyone should play more location variance mitigation, and Legion does that while also being a win on the spot card on occasion. Living Tribunal decks, not very good, but definitely need their namesake. Loki sucks. Next. All right, Luna Snow. I've been talking about how a lot of these extra energy cards are interchangeable, and I was very careful to say most when we talked about it for the first time. Luna Snow, I think, is the exception to the rule. I think Luna is probably genuinely the best extra energy card you can play in Marvel Snap right now. I think she's very good, and most of her decks are worse if you try and replace her with a different extra energy card. Madam Web. Madam Web is in with Anya as one of the better move enablers in the game. And we zoom out again. Mad Thinker. Nickname of the person who designed the card. Not good. Makari. Makari sees playing things somewhat consistently, but only okay, I would say. Malekith. I think Malekith's very similar to Anti-Venom. It's a pretty generically good 4, occasionally has some deck building considerations or synergies, but not needed everywhere. Man-Thing. An interchangeable Afflict payoff, like Laufey and like Diamondback here. Marvel Boy. Marvel Boy belongs with Gilgamesh chat. Zoo stuff was very good in the last what's it called? I promise at the very end we're gonna scroll through all of this so you can see it with your human eyes. But for now, this is a tier list for ants as we make it to the M cards. Mercury. Mercury is absolutely fine at a minimum. Could be strong. She was recently nerfed to 3. I think I'm gonna call her fine. Merlin. I think Merlin belongs in the buy this category. Very solid 2 energy card, has some good deck building synergy, like him a lot. All right, I've been saying a lot all of the discard cards are defining and strong now. I'm a liar. I'm gonna say Meek is regular fine. Is he Kang tier? He might be Kang tier. I think Meek is the worst card in every discard deck that's playing him. And post Colonel America, he might just be Kang tier. I'm gonna Kang Meek. I know it hurts me more than it hurts you, but I think he's Kang tier. I think he's like the 13th card that you would play in a lot of decks. Misery goes in with Firehair. Does she? Actually, maybe she's better than that. Some of the Victoria hand decks play Hood with Misery. When I say Misery obviously gets played with Firehair, but I'm gonna say she's better than Firehair on average a lot of the time. Because they see play separately. Mockingbird's a consistently very powerful card with a deck building synergy. So he's playing a wide range of things. I like her a lot. Moira X. The girl that put Destroy back on the map. I was expecting Moira to be playable, and I think she might actually be one of the cards I underrated the most initially in the last couple of months. Like, she's got some sweet fringe decks on top of making Destroy a tier deck. She got X23 nerfed. Like, she's quite good. The Mole Man. Mole Man is fine. But I think Patriot Victoria Hand Mole Man is an amusing mix of cards that you can play and not feel embarrassed with. Moonstone is in here with Goliath and Captain Carter for ongoing stuff. Morgan Le Fay. I think Mommy is quite fine. She's very, very fun inside of Grand Arena when that's going on, and I think she's got some other decks that you can play that are not top tier but reasonable, and she's a headliner in them. Mr. Fantastic First Steps. I think he's one of the outside looking in the end of turn deck. He's similar to Johnny Human Torch, where like you could kind of play him, but I'm skeptical he's optimal anywhere. Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is one of those cards where my gut says she's better than her play rate implies, but she's also just only okay. Every time I play Cerebro 5, Miss Marvel feels like a card that punches way above her weight class, so I'm going to leave her in fine as opposed to bad. Namora. I don't think Namora is very good. Nicholas Scratch. He's okay. There's like some Agamotto Merlin decks where you can play him and not feel bad about it, but super replaceable there. Nico continues to be one of the best cards you could spend your resources on. Love these really flexible, cheap cards, Kate, Merlin, Nico. I think if you're someone that's looking to spend your limited resources, you could pick up her and not feel bad about it. Quite good. Nightmare. Nightmare is defining and fine. Only okay. Nocturne. I've never put Nocturne in the Kang tier before, but I think I need to start my campaign to get her 5th point of power back. I always say I should rank cards that mitigate location variance a little bit higher, but I think she just doesn't hold up. Penny Parker, even after her buff, is still just another extra energy enabler. We're gonna put her in replaceable and fine with all the other extra energy enablers. Can I even see what is going on in this tier list anywhere? I think I'm gonna have to scroll, chat. I think I'm gonna have to scroll. Fastos. I don't think Fastos is unplayable. Let's call him replaceable. Pixie, defining for her decks. Her decks are, I think, fine. She's one that pops up in the high potential deck list on occasion, but never really gets much better than that. Prodigy. Prodigy's like a decent redundancy card. He's quite good in some of his decks. Do I put him in with the end of turn stuff? Yeah, I think we put him in with end of turn stuff and defining and strong. Maybe, well, let's zoom in once more or twice more. Let's make the top of the list defining and strong, and we can scroll up if we need a tech card or buy those. Proxima Midnight goes in with all of our discard cards. Lovely, lovely. Ravona, very good Mr. Negative card. Absolutely must have for that deck. Belongs in with Esme and Gore. Red Guardian, speaking of tech cards, he is a very, very good tech card. I think potentially the second best tech card under Cosmic Ghost Rider. I don't think I'd quite call him by these. I think he headlines the strong category. Red Hulk, big, dumb, 6-drop, Redshift. I think Redshift is a pretty solid discard enabler. Very good inside of the Agatha deck specifically, but I think we have enough cards that actually bin cards at this point that I'd say he's replaceable generally. Red Wing. Red Wing has decks where he defines. Those decks are okay. I think Rocket and Groot is like a little bit better than everything I currently have in the Kang tier, but also very replaceable. It's at least a little bit better than the Stinkers. I think you could get away with replacing Sage in most of her decks and still play them, but she's definitely a strong card. Sam Wilson. I think Sam Wilson belongs in here with Hydra Stomper and Batroc. Very good in that movement deck. And then he also sees play in some Spectrum on top of that. I feel like Sasquatch is only okay. Most of the decks you're playing Squanch in, you could replace her with other things. Her power level's only okay. I really just don't like Scarlet Spider. I don't know you any more explanation of that. Card's not good. Four energy activates suck. There's your explanation. Discard cards are good. Scored is good. Scream. I think Scream's one of those archetypes that's constantly better than his play rate implies. It's very sneakily disruptive and good. Sebastian Shaw. I think Sebastian Shaw is a solid 3-drop in the decks that want him, but he also tends to be replaceable in today's day and age. Circe. Circe's like an Annihilus level card. They play a lot of play together. Very, very, very whatever. Silver Sable. I think she's quite a reasonable card, but very replaceable in most of her decks. Silver Surfer First Steps. Definitely in with Grandmaster. We talked about her briefly then. Like, good quality card for doubling up your honor reveals, but there's a few ways to do that are interchangeable now. Scar. Sauron Scar definitely wants this card. I think that deck's okay. We'll put him in Defining and fine. Sparky. I think Sparky rounds out our strong but generally replaceable move enablers. I think Anya, Sparky, and Madam Web are probably our 3 best highest tier move enablers. Speed, generically good 3. Starbrand. I think I would say Starbrand is Defining. It's not a generically good 3, but it's definitely a pretty key enabler for Scar, so I think they go together. Stardust is a tech card. How good or bad it is kind of ebbs and flows. I think it's a little bit better than these other 4 down here, so I would say bottom of strong. Strange Supreme. He's better than the cards in the Kang tier because you can play him at Thanos, but I really don't know that I think he's that good. Super Adaptoid. Definitely a tech card. Doesn't seem very good. Better than Kang tier, I think. Supergiant. Supergiant is so good, she literally just got nerfed. She is a tech card that you could also build your deck around that's very disruptive. Supergiant is great. Surge. I think just strong too. So I was debating if I wanted to put her higher than that, but yeah, I think you can play any deck that's playing Surge without her and still have it be serviceable. Surtur. I think the fact that Surtur doesn't get to 10 points of attack anymore consistently means you could get away not playing it in Scar. Symbiote Spider-Man. Symbiote Spider-Man is a fun and sweet Fallen 1 enabler. They go together. Terrax. Terrax is quite a good Darkhawk enabler. Let's put that one up there. Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. I think Thaddeus is a fine card. Adds consistency to some decks. Thanos. Thanos tech slop, like, always finds a way. I don't know that I think it's the best deck in the metagame and hasn't been for a little bit, but it's definitely a deck you could play and not feel embarrassed. Ancient One. Ancient One's good in Cerebro 5. If I called Miss Marvel fine for that reason, I think I call Ancient One fine for that reason. The Hunger. I like the Hunger a lot. I actually think the zombie cards are quite reasonable. Is it crazy to call the zombie cards defining and strong? I think I want to say Zombie Giant Man is strong. I think I'm going to put Zombie Giant Man in strong. Athena, end of turn stuff is good. Phoenix Force. Keep on coping, Phoenix Forcers. This one goes out to G. The Thing First Steps. I think this one goes in here with the other end of turn cards where like you can kind of play them together, but they're not super optimal. Topaz is a Fan-Fey level move enabler along with Hellion. Toxie is Toxie Trashy. I like Toxin and Bounce, chat. Bounce is fine. Uncle Ben. I think Uncle Ben is actually much better than his play rate implies. I think Destroy People should probably be playing more Uncle Ben. And he's very good in Sanctum. I think Dormammu got into defining and strong with the Sanctum Asterisk. Uncle Ben is absolutely good there. U.S. Agent. Replaceable and fine. Valentina, replaceable and fine. Victoria Hand, she's fine and she's very strong. Where's my Frigga? You go in there next to Frigga, girl. Viv Vision. I think with her third point of power, she's fine. Viv Vision's a card where, like, her average game, she's only okay, but, like, she could snowball really hard. Warlock. I have played not just one, but 2 different Warlock decks in the last month that did not leave me feeling completely embarrassed. I think he's fine at a minimum and might be a sneaky strong if more people were playing him. War Machine. War Machine's a card that you're like often building your deck around, and I think it's probably parallel to Warlock. Werewolf by Night. I think Werewolf decks have gotten a bit better in recent memory. And he's definitely defining. I'm gonna say Werewolf deserves to be strong. White Widow. Wiccan. Consistently strong card, definitely defining. X23. Destroy is very good. Zorn. Mediocre tier move enabler. Zombie Captain Marvel. More like trashy Captain Marvel. Zombie Galacti. My heart wants to say it's defining and fine. My head knows it's trash, okay? I know it's trash. You don't have to argue with me. I'm putting it in the keg tier. Zombie Power Man. Defining and strong. Zombie Mr. Fantastic. Defining and strong. Zombie Scarlet Witch. Defining and strong. Zombie Sentry. Replaceable and fine. I think you can get away with not playing him in zombie stuff. All right. And to complete our tier list in less than 45 minutes, our last discard card. There are too many damn Series 4 and 5 cards. Please send help, Second Dinner. My family is dying. We're all going broke. To take it from the top. If you are someone who has more limited resources, I think these top 4 groups of cards are some of the best groupings of cards you can spend your resources on. I think these first 2 categories are ones you're going to play a lot in a lot of different things. I think this third category are all cards you'll be happy to have if particular archetypes piss you off and you absolutely want to be able to dunk on them. And I think this third grouping of cards are all cards that are good power levels that are decks that are not accessible without them generally speaking. Now, as we scroll down, and this is the part, it's so funny to me when the sweaty players leave comments on my tier list, because the sweaty players leave angry comments on my tier list every time, because they just look at from the top down and they see all of these cards that are generically pretty good Marvel Snap cards that see regular play in good decks, and they just start like frothing at the mouth. And they just bang on their keyboard and are like, I can't believe you would tell me these cards are bad. Never mind the fact that they're like the word strong is next to them. I just genuinely feel that these cards, these are optimization cards. These are cards that like don't unlock a new deck for you. They make a deck 1% better or 2% better or 0.5% better. They optimize your decks. They don't make them necessary or not. And then there's the Kang Memorial tier at the bottom. 2 second dinners credit. I think this is actually the smallest the Kang Memorial tier has been in recent memory. I need to go back and fact check that. But I feel like we moved a number of cards up due to synergies with cards that have happened in the last few months. We moved a few down too, but this is a little bit less bloated than it was once upon a time. If you watch this on YouTube, make sure you tap the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Marvel Snap content. Appreciate you making it all the way through to the end. Drop a comment down below letting me know which cards you feel I absolutely put in the wrong category and I'm an idiot for ranking it the way that I did. Appreciate you watching. Have a good one.